Today we are here with the Most Reverend Julio Murray Thompson from Panama, who was elected like last year as the moderator of the Commission on Climate Justice and Sustainable Development. So thank you so much for your time here with us. The first question is, you have a long journey on advocating for climate justice. It's part of who you are, but now you are here moderating a commission for WCC. So how do you see your role as the moderator of the commission?
First of all, I want to say thanks, Walter, for the time that you have, crafted out so that we will have this interview. And thank you as well for General Secretary of WCC for the invitation to moderate this new Commission on Climate Justice and Sustainable Development. What makes it so significant is the fact that I recognize over and over again our responsibility as stewards of God's creation. And as a steward, I become a servant to the Word, a servant to the teachings, but a servant also to our relationship with Mother Earth. We've been given a responsibility and we have been careless with it. And the time that we can take to change our processes, to bring about the transformation that we need, is the time that I really want to dedicate. And I said yes to the invitation after prayer and much consideration, because the idea is, what can I offer? What can I bring? But I also realized that there are, like me, many on the commission that also have expertise in different areas, and they bring that too. So it's a matter of sharing and collaborating. We are yet to see what the big challenge is. We have just started the process of getting to know each other and to listen to each other. We have worked today on panels and we have gathered much information. But what's going to be, again, so challenging and exciting is to see how these ideas become concrete actions on the ground, as I said before, that begins with change, but that will bring along transformation, the transformation that we need.
So let's talk about challenges. How do you link this very important global issue to the work of the Commission? How can we contribute as churches to this global issue?
I think that one of the things that we could do more and more, aside from creating the conscious of the fact that the climate change is one of the crises that we are addressing, the other one has to do with our advocacy, but most of all, in climate justice, you will not imagine the amount of people who suffer the most because of climate change. We cannot show you enough films of people that suffer because of the drought or because of the flooding. And some people cannot imagine that the most vulnerable are women and children. And if that is happening in this generation, what is it going to happen in the next? So I think that the most challenging piece of it all is the aspect of justice. Justice for the most vulnerable. And they are the ones who are the least impacting with climate change. But they are the ones that are going to be suffering the most. Secondly, I think that the challenge also was first to have the conversation with governments in countries. I come from a country that is struggling to not only identify corruption, but to stop corruption. And why I mention this is because we have already had the conversation with governments. And we got from them how they sign on to treaties and the work that they have done already to make sure that what they sign on to will become a reality. Now, our bigger challenge is to talk to the owners of the corporations that are really not doing enough or not doing anything to make change come around. We are expecting that governments are the ones that are going to talk to the members of these corporations. And if you ask me, that's never going to happen, because these members of the corporations have handed governments with so much money for so many different things. The governments are going to feel inadequate to call on them to fill the gap and the responsibility that needs to happen. So we need to be prepared to talk to the corporate world. We need to be prepared to step up a notch. And faith-based organizations, we still have the credibility and the confidence and the trust from people. So let us have the justice conversation with corporate companies seems that they have nothing to do, that business as usual is what needs to go on. That needs to stop.
We have a very richful commission, I would say. Young people, indigenous people, people from different parts of the world. But there are also people who are not sitting here on this table, and there are partners, there are other dimensions of society. How do you see we can take profit of this richness and also dialogue with other partners to strengthen the climate justice movement?
Well, I think you are also giving us clues of what the answer can be. Yes, our aim is to provide information and accompany the church as we do advocacy and as we create consciousness and have concrete actions that can come from church-based organizations. But the commission is also set up with working groups. And within the working groups, we have an opportunity to create the intentional partnership with NGOs or with other organizations like ours that are doing the same, maybe in civil society. I think that gives us a tremendous venue and opportunity to create these partnerships because there are many other groups and institutions that are doing things similar to what we are doing in civil society, and I think we need to become partners. So with our working groups, water, food, sustainable development, we have an opportunity with our group, with the expertise that we have, that should give us leverage to begin having, crossover and interdisciplinary cooperation with different groups. Now, why I think that's key, because a lot of people think why faith-based organizations are involved in all of this. And this is a reason for us to say, as we assume our responsibility as stewards of creation, as we assume our responsibility towards justice for the most vulnerable, what we are doing, and only we can do, is to make sure that the reality of the kingdom of God is brought to the people today. This is God's creation. God is interested in making sure that we have life and life abundant. That's what it says in John chapter 10 and verse 10. And Jesus said, some will come and thief and kill, but I have come so that you will have life and life abundant. So that's one of the scriptures that kind of motivate the work that we all should be doing, making sure that people have life and life abundant. So the commission will also have this challenge, but again, we'll have a tremendous opportunity to create the partnership that we want. And also, I think that we'll also have this tremendous opportunity to create bridges where walls were put up. Bridges because we need to work with young people. We need to work with women. We need to work with indigenous groups. We need to work with African descent. I mean, because the climate crisis is one that involves us all. So that gives us an opportunity to do that.
Yes, thank you so much. You mentioned, you bridged it yourself to the next question, that is young people.
Okay.
So how can we involve young people on the climate justice movement without losing this very important identity that is make us also Christian? How can we also reinforce our identity as Christians on this movement to bring some lights that goes beyond just the justice element?
Give me an opportunity to share something that we lived in Panama in the month of October of 2022. The government has signed on to a contract with a mining corporation after recognizing that the signing of this contract was not the right thing to do. The Supreme Court ruled that it was inconstitutional. But to get it to the Supreme Court, we had to have many demonstrations, many people on the streets. The country was stopped for about 3 weeks. But as the demonstrations got larger and larger, we had to pay attention to how the young people were demonstrating. The young people would demonstrate on Saturdays and Sundays. The demonstration with the young people happened after they left their workplace. They demonstrate at night. And they demonstrated under the weather. It was raining at the time. And they were the only ones that were making sure that the cause that had them on the street had to do definitely with the damage that we were doing to the Mother Earth because of the open space mining that we had signed on to, that the government had signed on to. I think that our young people understand what it is to be challenged by climate change, and they understand the meaning of justice. I think that young people are already empowered. But what we need to do more and more is to enable the young people in our communities, give them the necessary training that they need, make sure that we walk alongside with them. Sometimes they need the mentoring, but they already bring to the table the energy and they think out of the box. The way of demonstrating that we used to now has been changed, and that I can say is thanks to the young people in Panama. So when I look at young people, I also see, we have a time for recreation and fun and so forth, but also I see the responsibility that we have as faith-based organizations to walk alongside young people and not empower, but enable them and to walk along with them.
Everyone that comes here and seated in these chairs, we ask a lot of questions, but everyone also brings something in their hearts. They might want to say it, we didn't ask. Is there anything I've asked you that you would like to share, that you think it's important, that is in your heart, that you brought to this commission meeting?
We have known about the threat and the crisis of climate change. We have sat with the scientists. We have seen the loss and the hurt in the people. Why is it so difficult to put the will to have things change? How long are we going to keep silence and not challenge not only governments, but challenge corporation and challenge who needs to be challenged to bring the will to make sure that transformation happens. If we only have that commitment, the world will be a better place to be. So let us commit in responding and taking care of creation as part of our responsibility as Christians. Let us be the ones to show that there is a will, there is a commitment, and let us help others commit as well.
Thank you so much, Archbishop Julio. God bless you in this week of work and a lot of collaboration, and get to know everyone in the Commission deeply to continue this work that is so important for the world, but I think also can be also a light for the ecumenical movement. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.